Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to Cambridge Maths Hub. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss chapter number 14, probability from your IGCSE mathematics. And this is very important chapter related to your past paper and students' confusions as well, because most of the students are having very much difficulties related to this chapter 14. So I will try to make it a bit easier and helpful for you, this video, so that you can understand it better. And if you have any query, you can ask me in the comment section as well. So I will try to answer with every comment and every query. Okay. So as is for probability, we will be talking about. So very basic probability concept I gave in my one video. You can check that video. And after that, let's just start what they gave in this book. So first of all, again, they gave us about the simple probability. And what I told you about the probability is that this is basically that how you are working out an event that is going to happen. Okay. Like what is the working of the event that is likely going to happen in future, or that is happening, what kind of probability that it will be having. This can be used for forecasting anything, for estimation, and for other things. If, like, for example, they gave us a very good example over here that all major airlines, for example, regularly overbook the flights because they are having this probability or idea that how many passengers will fail to arrive or how many passengers will be certainly going to arrive according to that particular date. Okay. So if you will be simply talking about the very basic probabilities, so this point or these 3 to 4 points that you need to keep in your mind, and they are really important. First point is that if an event cannot happen, so the probability is going to be zero. An event that is not going to happen, so probability will be zero. For example, you are adult now. What is the probability that you will be child again? This is not a certain thing. This cannot happen. So probability for this kind of events would be zero. That are certainly not going to happen. If you are sure that this thing is not going to happen, so probability will be simply zero. Okay. Second thing is that if an event is certain to happen, like if, for example, today is Monday, what day would be after Monday? That would be Tuesday. So this is certain that there would be Tuesday, the day after Monday. So this is having the probability 1. Okay, very easy thing. Like if your probability is lying, like if your probability is 0, it means that the thing that we are talking about, it's not going to happen. And if the probability is 1, then it's certainly going to happen. So simply the probability is going to lie in between 0 to 1. This is the scale. Like in between 0 to 1, this can be 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.00002. Any value can be, but in between 0 to 1, even in the form of fraction, it can be, even in the form of decimal, in the form of percentages, it can be. Because if you know the very basic concepts about the math, these all three can be converted into one another. So what kind of question they have asked according to the decimals, if either they are asking according to the fractions or percentages, so you must know the conversions as well. Okay. So just remember that your probability will not be less than 0 or it will not be greater than 1. So that's why this in between, this can lie, or in between 0.5 will be on average it even numbers. Like for example, if 50-50% probability can be for both of the events that we are talking about. Okay. Now, if the probability of the event is going to happen, what is the probability? Like you need to go on with 1. So, for example, if your probability of an event that can happen, for example, is being given as 0.5, and you want to find out the probability of an event that cannot happen, okay, or the probability of the event, for example, if they're saying that the probability of a child that he will go to school tomorrow. Okay. For example, just to make it very simple. If the probability to go to school is 0.5, so what is the probability that he will not go? The student will not go to school. So if you want to find out the probability of the things, so if he is not going to happen in any way, so what we are going to do, we are going to simply subtract it from 1 because the total probability adds up to 1. Okay, this you need to remember that total probability always adds up to 1. Okay, like here they have written that you write the probability of an event A as happening And if you want to find out probability of not happening of the similar event, so you can just go on by subtracting it from 1. So this simply can be with this dash at the top. You can say this one P dash A, that this means that this probability is not going to happen. But if on the other hand, they have given that it is the probability of not going to happen. So what is the probability of happening? So again, you can do the similar thing, like you can apply this formula or this expression that from the one, you need to just subtract that particular probability, okay? Because either A or not A will always be using with this, okay? So this is very simple concept about the probability, and accordingly you can easily solve your exercise 14.1a, that is about the very simple concept about the probability. First of all, in the first part, they're asking that you need to draw a probability scale 0 to 1 and place the letter for each of the following events on the line to show what their probability is, and some of these probabilities will be able to exactly calculate and some will be just for the estimation. So let's check for the A part. They're saying in the A part, we need to check it for tossing a coin and it landing on head. Okay, just one coin we are talking about. So two kind of possibilities can be there. Either there can be head or either there can be tail. Okay. Now, what is the formula for the probability? We know that formula for the probability, if you have like checked my previous lecture, so you know that we need to write down our favorable outcomes or the outcomes that we are interested in above, and we need to divide it by the total possible outcomes. So that would be downward. Like for example, if we will be talking about the total number of outcomes over here, they are 2. Okay. So if A1 part, I'm going to discuss probability of an event A. For example, I'm talking about A. So the number of possible outcomes we are interested in, or the favorable possible outcomes, over the total possible outcomes in a sample space. So if we are interested in finding the number of heads, okay, when we will just toss a coin one time, so one time there is a head out of total how many possibilities? Two possibilities. So 1 over 2. This is the probability and this is lying on 0.5 on number line. And if you have the number line concept, basically number line starts from 0. On the right side, we are going to have 1 because we are not going to move towards the left side because our probability only lies in between 0 to 1 and the answer is coming in between, like that is coming 0.5. Okay, so here we can find out the value exactly that what is basically the probability of lying on head. Okay, this is your part number A. Next is B part. In this, they are asking that rolling a 6 on a fair 6-sided dice. Okay, you know that on a dice, the rolling dice, we have the possibilities or the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 numbers we have when we are going to roll a die. And if we are finding the probability of a 6, so probability of getting a 6, I'm talking about the B part. So probability of B event is going to be according to this, that there is only one time that we can have 6 out of total 6 possibilities. It means that 1 over 6 is the probability for part B. 1 over 6 for part B. Okay. Now check for the C part. What we have is it will rain tomorrow. It will rain tomorrow. What will be the probability that it will rain tomorrow? Are you sure about this or you are not sure about this? Here you can have either your answer as 0 or 1. Okay. If you are sure about this, that probability that it will rain tomorrow is certainly that there can be rain tomorrow. So we will say that this is 0. Okay, like we are not sure that there will be rain tomorrow. Okay, so you can have the probability as simply as 0. D part is a randomly chosen triangle with all that will have 3 sides. Okay, obviously a triangle is, the triangle can have 3 sides, right? So obviously the probability can be there. So the probability for this kind of event is 1 because they're saying that randomly chosen triangle. Now we don't know how many triangles we have and how many sides. They're talking about just one triangle. They're talking about in general. So probability can be 1. Next, for part E, they have given the sun will rise tomorrow morning. So this is certain. So we can have the probability again as 1. Now F is at some points in future you will travel into space. Yes, if you are sure. If you're not sure, probability will be 0. Okay, that's good. Now in part G, if you will see, they are asking that you will use a smartphone tomorrow. So for this kind of event as well, you're not sure that either you will use the smartphone or not. So for this kind of event as well, we are not certain. So the probability is 0. Okay. Now for H, they're saying that you will go to school tomorrow. Again, this is not a certain event, that we are not sure that either we will be going to school tomorrow or not. Like, there isn't a certainty over here. There will be or there cannot be as well. So again, the event for these kind of events, like the probability for these kind of events where we're not certain about some kind of events, so probability will be simply 0. I's a randomly chosen day of the week will be Saturday. So total 7 days are there, and only one time there is a possibility that we can have the Saturday. So 1 over 7. This is basically the probability that the randomly chosen day of the week will be Saturday. Okay. J is rolling a 7 on a fair six-sided dice. So if a dice is six-sided, so only six numbers will be there obviously on that. Okay. These will be the numbers, but they are asking the probability of rolling a 7. So rolling 7 is not possible. So for this kind of event as well, the probability will be 0. Okay, so the events for about like we are certain, the probability will be 1, and the events that we are not certain about, probability will be 0. Now, in part number 2, if you can see, they have given that if the probability that it will rain tomorrow is 0.3, so what is the probability that it will not rain tomorrow? So at the start, I gave you this formula, if you will remember, like if you have a probability, the total probability always adds up to 1. And if you want to find out the probability of not happening the event, you needs to simply subtract it from 1, like the probability of happening the event from simply you need to subtract it from 1. Okay, here the space is a bit less. Like if I will write this down, probability of not happening an event, so you can represent it by P dash A, and you need to simply subtract it from 1. Okay, the probability of happening. This is the happening probability. Clear? So if, for example, they are asking that you needs to find out the probability that it will rain tomorrow. Now, one thing that here the probability it will rain tomorrow is 0.3. This, okay? So probability that it will rain tomorrow is 0.3. And if he needs to find out the probability that it will not, like there will be no rain tomorrow, so simply you need to subtract it from 0.3, and that's coming 0.7. This part is 0.7, like this, simple. Okay, simply you need to subtract it from 1. Now for the third part, if you will carefully see, what they gave us over here is, so they're saying in a game that you either win or lose. So if the probability that you win the game is 25%, so what is the probability that you lose? So probability, I told you, that can be in the form of percentage as well, and you know that total percentage is 100%. So if they are asking in the form of percentage, so your final answer will be also in the form of percentage. Okay, so now if according to this I will simply subtract it from 100%. Okay, like 25% is the probability of winning the game, and if he needs to find out the probability that we will lose, so accordingly probability that we will lose the game is going to be 100% minus 25%. Okay, according to the same formula, so that's going to be 75%. Okay, so 75% is basically the answer for this third part. Okay, here if they are asking in the form of percentage, so we will give the answer, the final answer as well, in the form of percentage. Next, the part number 4, they're saying if the probability that I will be late to an appointment today is 1 by 6, so what is the probability that I will not be late? Again, similar question, but they have asked according to a question according to like given in the form of fraction. So again, like here we will be subtracting it from 1. Okay, so how you are going to subtract it from 1. Either you can just make your denominator same, or either simply you can apply the LCM method, like 6 1 times 6 minus 1, that's actually going to be 5 by 6. Basically 5 by 6 is the probability that I will not be late. Okay, so hope so this exercise is clear. This is really simple and related to the probability concept, that is like the basic concepts about the probability. If you grab the ideas carefully, so you will be having the great command on the probability topic related to the next exercises that we are going to work. So see you until the next exercise. Love.